Welcome to Lesson 5 of Week 10. Building on our discussion of formatting, we now explore data visualization, the strategic use of visual elements to communicate information more effectively than text alone. Data visualization in grant proposals includes charts, graphs, tables, timelines, diagrams, and other visual representations of information. These elements are not decorative, they are communication tools that can convey complex information quickly, make patterns visible at a glance, and save precious page space while improving comprehension. This lesson will help you understand when visualization is more effective than prose, select appropriate visual formats for different types of information, design clear, accessible graphics that communicate effectively, and integrate visuals properly with your narrative text. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify opportunities for visualization in your proposals and create graphics that strengthen rather than clutter your presentation. Well-designed visuals distinguish professional proposals from amateur efforts. Understanding why visualization matters helps you identify opportunities to strengthen your proposals with visual elements. Efficiency means graphics often convey information in less space than equivalent text. A timeline graphic showing project phases across months communicates in a quarter page what might take a full page to describe in paragraphs. In page-limited proposals, this efficiency is valuable. Comprehension improves because visual patterns are processed faster than verbal descriptions. A bar chart showing differences between groups communicates instantly what a paragraph of numbers communicates slowly and with more effort. The human visual system is remarkably effective at pattern recognition. Memorability increases because visual information is retained better than text alone. Reviewers who see a compelling graphic remember it. The image stays with them in ways that prose descriptions may not. Memorable graphics can become mental anchors that reviewers associate with your proposal. Professionalism is signaled by thoughtful graphics that demonstrate sophisticated communication skills. Generic proposals rely entirely on text. Professional proposals use appropriate visualization to present information effectively. Well-designed graphics suggest you understand how to communicate with busy professionals. Certain types of information benefit particularly from visual presentation. Recognizing these situations helps you identify visualization opportunities. Comparisons between items are often clearer in visual form. A table comparing your approach to alternatives on multiple dimensions, a chart showing outcomes across different conditions, a side-by-side diagram of before and after states. These comparisons communicate quickly in visual form. Processes and sequences are naturally visual. A flowchart showing how participants move through your program, a diagram showing your research process, a timeline showing project phases. These process visualizations are more intuitive than textual descriptions of step 1, then step 2, then step 3. Relationships between elements benefit from visual representation. An organizational chart showing team structure, a logic model showing how activities connect to outcomes, a network diagram showing partnership connections. These relationship visualizations make abstract connections concrete and visible. Trends over time or across conditions are powerful in chart form. A line graph showing declining rates, a bar chart showing growth across years, a scatter plot showing correlation. These trend visualizations make patterns immediately apparent in ways that numerical descriptions cannot match. Different types of visuals serve different purposes. Understanding your options helps you select appropriate formats. Tables present organized data in rows and columns. They work well when you need to present specific values that readers might want to look up individually. Staffing tables, budget summaries, outcome targets by year, these are natural table applications. Tables preserve precision while organizing information clearly. Charts and graphs visualize quantitative relationships. Bar charts compare quantities across categories. Line charts show trends over time. Pie charts show proportions of a whole. Scatter plots show relationships between variables. Choose the chart type that matches your data and message. Timelines display sequences of activities or milestones. Project timelines showing phases across months or years. Gantt charts showing overlapping activities. Milestone charts showing key dates. These help reviewers understand when things will happen and how activities relate temporally. Diagrams illustrate concepts, processes, or relationships. Flowcharts, logic models, organizational charts, process diagrams, conceptual frameworks. These visual representations make abstract ideas concrete. Diagrams can communicate complex relationships that would be difficult to explain in prose. Tables are among the most useful visualization tools in proposals. Understanding how to design and use tables effectively strengthens your presentations. When to use tables, multiple data points needing organized presentation benefit from table format. When you have information that naturally fits rows and columns, with different items sharing common attributes, tables are appropriate. Scattered data that readers might need to locate individually works well in tables. Design principles for effective tables include clear headers that explain what each row and column contains, consistent formatting throughout, adequate spacing so cells do not feel cramped, and borders or shading that help readers track across rows. Tables should be easy to read at a glance. Common applications in proposals include staffing tables showing positions and FTE levels, budget tables summarizing costs by category or year, timeline tables listing activities and dates, and outcome tables showing targets by objective. These recurring proposal elements benefit from table presentation. Integration requires referencing tables in your narrative and explaining key points. A table dropped into your proposal without context is confusing. Introduce tables with sentences like Table 1 presents the project staffing plan, and discuss important content from the table in your prose. Tables supplement narrative, they do not replace it. Charts and graphs visualize quantitative information in forms that make patterns visible. Selecting the right chart type is essential for effective communication. Bar charts compare quantities across categories. If you want to show that outcomes improved more in treatment than control groups, or that your organization serves more clients than competitors, bar charts make these comparisons visually obvious. Horizontal or vertical bars can show ranked comparisons clearly. Line charts show trends over time. If you want to demonstrate that a problem has worsened over years, or that your preliminary intervention showed improvement across months, line charts make these temporal patterns visible. Multiple lines can compare trends across groups. Pie charts show proportions of a whole. They can illustrate budget allocation across categories or distribution of participants across demographics. However, use pie charts sparingly. They become confusing with many slices and often work less well than alternatives. Consider bar charts instead for many proportion comparisons. The selection principle is to choose the chart type that best serves your message. What point are you trying to make? What pattern do you want reviewers to see? Select the visualization that makes that pattern most obvious. Do not choose chart types for variety. Choose them for communication effectiveness. Timelines and Gantt charts help reviewers understand your implementation plan by showing when activities occur and how they relate temporally. Project timelines show major phases and milestones across project duration. A simple timeline graphic with years or quarters across the top and major phases labeled below communicates project structure at a glance. Milestone markers highlight key deliverable dates. Gantt charts show activities as horizontal bars across time periods. Each activity is a bar whose length indicates duration. Activities that overlap share common time periods. The visual immediately shows what happens when and how activities relate to each other. Gantt charts are particularly effective for complex projects with multiple simultaneous activities. Dependencies become visible when activities are shown in relation to each other. If data collection must complete before analysis begins, the visual shows this sequence. Reviewers can see that you understand the logical flow of work and have planned accordingly. Clarity requires avoiding overcrowding. A Gantt chart with 50 activities becomes unreadable. Show key activities, major phases, and critical milestones. Detailed task lists belong elsewhere. Your timeline visualization should communicate high-level structure, not every task on your work plan. Logic models visualize your theory of change, showing how inputs lead through activities to outputs and ultimately to outcomes. Many funders expect or require logic models. The purpose of a logic model is to make your program theory visible. How do you think change will happen? What resources will you invest? What activities will you conduct? What will those activities produce? What outcomes will result? The logic model lays out this chain of reasoning graphically. Standard components include inputs, the resources you invest, including funding, staff, and partnerships. Activities are what you will do with those resources. Outputs are the direct products of activities such as people trained or materials produced. Outcomes are the changes that result, often divided into short-term, medium-term, and long-term categories. Connections shown by arrows indicate causal or logical relationships. Resources enable activities. Activities produce outputs. Outputs lead to outcomes. The visual shows how elements connect in your theory of change. The value of a logic model is demonstrating systematic thinking about how change happens. A well-constructed logic model shows reviewers that you understand the causal chain from investment to impact. It also serves as a framework for your evaluation plan, which should measure the outcomes your logic model predicts. Design principles guide you toward effective graphics. Following these principles produces visuals that communicate rather than confuse. Clarity means graphics should communicate their message quickly without confusion. A reviewer should be able to understand what your graphic shows within seconds. If interpretation requires extensive study or reference to surrounding text, the graphic is not serving its purpose. Design for immediate comprehension. Simplicity requires removing unnecessary elements. Every line, box, arrow, and label should serve a purpose. Decorative elements that do not aid communication add clutter. Grid lines, excessive borders, three-dimensional effects that do not convey information, these should be eliminated. Simpler graphics are often more effective. Labels ensure all elements are clearly identified. Axis labels on charts, column headers on tables, element labels on diagrams, legends for color coding. These labels help readers interpret your graphics correctly. Unlabeled elements force guessing, which risks misinterpretation. Accessibility considers readers with visual impairments or color blindness. Do not rely solely on color to convey information. Use patterns or labels as well. Ensure adequate contrast between elements. Consider whether your graphics would be interpretable if printed in black and white. Accessible design serves all readers. Graphics work best when properly integrated with your narrative text. Poor integration makes graphics feel disconnected or confusing. Introduction means graphics should be introduced in your narrative before they appear. A sentence like Figure 1 illustrates the project timeline, prepares readers for what follows. Graphics that appear without introduction feel like interruptions. Let readers know what is coming and why. Placement positions graphics near the text that discusses them. Ideally, a graphic appears on the same page as or immediately after the text that introduces it. If readers must flip pages to find a referenced graphic, the connection is weakened. Placement supports comprehension by keeping related content together. Reference by number allows consistent identification. Call graphics Figure 1, Table 1, or similar labels. These references help readers locate specific graphics and allow you to refer back to them later. Numbered references are clearer than phrases like the chart below, which become ambiguous if layout changes. Discussion explains key points from graphics in your prose. Do not assume graphics speak for themselves. Point out the most important findings, patterns, or implications. As shown in Table 2, our approach requires significantly less staff time than alternatives, makes the graphics key point explicit. Help readers know what to notice. Common visualization mistakes undermine the effectiveness of graphics. Recognizing these mistakes helps you avoid them. Chart junk refers to unnecessary visual elements that add clutter without improving communication. Three-dimensional effects on two-dimensional data, excessive grid lines, decorative borders, busy backgrounds. These elements distract from the data rather than clarifying it. Remove anything that does not serve communication. Misleading scales use axis manipulation to distort interpretation. A bar chart with a y-axis that does not start at 0 can exaggerate small differences. A truncated axis can make changes look dramatic when they are actually modest. Use scales that fairly represent your data. Poor labeling produces graphics that require guessing to interpret. Unlabeled axes, missing legends, undefined abbreviations, and unclear element labels force readers to puzzle over meaning. Every element should be clearly identified so interpretation is straightforward. Wrong chart type mismatches visualization to data type. Using a pie chart when a bar chart would be clearer. Using a line chart for categorical data. Choosing a visualization because it looks interesting rather than because it communicates effectively. These mismatches confuse rather than clarify. Match your chart type to your data and message. Creating graphics requires appropriate tools and attention to quality. Understanding your options helps you produce professional visuals. Software options range from basic to sophisticated. Word processors like Microsoft Word can create simple tables and basic charts. Spreadsheet programs like Excel offer more chart options. Dedicated design tools like PowerPoint, Visio, or specialized software provide the most flexibility. Choose tools appropriate for your needs and skills. Template use accelerates creation. Many programs offer templates for common graphics like Gantt charts, organizational charts, and flow diagrams. Templates provide starting structures you can customize. Using templates produces more professional results than building from scratch, especially if you lack design expertise. Consistency requires applying similar styling to all graphics in your proposal. Use consistent colors, fonts, and formatting conventions across tables, charts, and diagrams. Visual consistency creates coherence and professionalism. Inconsistent styling makes graphics feel like afterthoughts rather than integrated elements. Quality demands that graphics be crisp and professional, not pixelated or blurry. Images should be high resolution, lines should be clean, text should be readable. Low-quality graphics undermine professionalism regardless of content. Review your graphics at full size to verify quality before submission. Space considerations affect how you use graphics in page-limited proposals. Strategic decisions about space maximize graphic effectiveness. Page limits apply to graphics. Unlike some academic publications where figures might not count toward length limits, proposal graphics typically consume page space. Every graphic takes space that could otherwise hold text. This trade-off should inform your decisions about when visualization adds enough value to justify the space. Space efficiency means graphics should convey more information per page inch than equivalent prose. A graphic that takes a quarter page but communicates what would require a full page of text is efficient. A graphic that takes half a page but says little is wasteful. Evaluate whether each graphic earns its space. Size balance requires graphics large enough to read comfortably, but small enough to preserve space. Tiny graphics that require magnification fail to communicate. Oversized graphics waste space. Find the size that allows comfortable reading while using space efficiently. Appendix option recognizes that some graphics may fit better in appendices if allowed. Detailed staffing charts, comprehensive logic models, or extensive data tables might be referenced in narrative but placed in appendices to preserve main document space. Check NOFO rules about appendix content. Following best practices for visualization produces graphics that strengthen your proposals. These practices should guide your decisions. Purpose-driven graphics serve clear communication purposes. Before creating a graphic, ask what point you want to make and whether visualization makes that point better than text. If you cannot articulate the purpose, reconsider whether the graphic is needed. Every graphic should earn its place. Reader-focused design prioritizes quick comprehension by busy reviewers. Remember that reviewers are tired and may be skimming. Graphics should communicate their messages immediately, not require careful study. Design for the actual conditions under which your proposal will be read. Integrated graphics connect to narrative through proper introduction and discussion. Do not treat graphics as standalone elements. Introduce them, place them appropriately, reference them by number, and discuss their key points. Integration makes graphics part of your argument rather than disconnected illustrations. Professional execution ensures high quality, consistent styling, and clear labels throughout. Graphics reflect on your overall competence. Sloppy or confusing graphics undermine confidence in your proposal. Invest the effort to make your graphics as professional as your prose. Let us summarize the key points from this lesson on data visualization. Graphics communicate efficiently and memorably when well designed. Tables, charts, timelines, and diagrams can convey complex information more quickly than prose, save page space, and create visual memories that stay with reviewers. Thoughtful visualization distinguishes professional proposals. Selection of visualization types should match your data and message. Use tables for organized data, bar charts for comparisons, line charts for trends, timelines for sequences, and diagrams for relationships. Choose the format that makes your key point most clearly visible. Do not select for variety, select for communication. Design should follow principles of clarity, simplicity, and accessibility. Remove unnecessary elements. Label everything clearly. Consider readers with visual impairments. Integrate graphics with narrative through proper introduction, placement, and discussion. Professional execution matters. In our next lesson, we examine writing the abstract and executive summary. This critical section is often the first thing reviewers read carefully and sometimes the only thing read during initial screening. The abstract must capture your entire proposal in miniature, compelling reviewers to want to learn more. Practice exercise. Identify a section of a current or past proposal that uses dense text to present information that could be visualized. Create a table, chart, timeline, or diagram that presents the same information more effectively.